Hey everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for being here with me today. You are now listening to the podcast of Journey of a Healed Success Stepper. I'm Dorina Shine, Dr. Dorina Shine, and I welcome you to the podcast. Welcome. So I got a email and I was requested to talk about my 12 steps to recovery. I have never really shared them outside of the academic platform. However, I will be doing this now because it's already copywritten. It's on the docket at my local university, so it'll be okay to do so. And this is my actual official work under my master's degree program. So for those of you who are interested, I had started going within after my criminal case, after thinking that I officially lost my mind because I started hearing voices and I started tripping out and doing things that I can't even be responsible for doing because of an involuntary inducement. Someone laced me. So with that being said, I did have to serve my time. And in serving my time, I learned so much about me because I was so confused. And when I'm in a confused state, I am more or less proactive. I begin to resonate with, what did I do wrong? How did I not see this? And one thing about involuntary intoxication versus voluntary intoxication is that even the body and the psyche already recognizes that you have voluntarily chosen to do this. You've made a conscious decision that, yes, I'm going to indulge in this, and the body reacts to that because it is an acceptance to it. And that's where addiction separated from me, through involuntary intoxication. It was a very short-lived addiction. So I can't say that there has been years and years and years upon my addiction. That was not the case. And of course, we can digress with that and we can say that, yes, I may be addicted to this or that or whatever. We all have our addictions, the things that soothe us and comfort us and makes us happy. But when it begins to destroy us, that is a negative addiction. That is a physical addiction that is preventing you from being your higher version of yourself. So in the studies of finding me, I did my own, I was my own case study because I really wanted to know what took place. So success stepping became an option for me. I decided to step into success because that's where I had always been going. And no matter if you get trapped up, no matter if something happens in life, just throws you a curveball, you got to know how to dodge that or grab it and throw it back, okay? So with that being said, it was like very amazing how success stepping and shining and remembering my name and remembering who I was and remembering all that I had done took a very big part of the growing, of the growth. Sometimes you just have to remember. So that's what we're going to share today. My very first step that was connected to and a contributive factor from the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous. Okay, so I took these and I plugged them into my emotion instead of my addiction. And what happened was I realized that the emotion was there long before the addiction or the opening idea or expansion of what addiction could have led me down the path to. Emotions were there long before that. So let's get busy on what we want to share, what I want to share with you today. Here we go. Okay, let me see here. So in this Okay. So basically, Emotional Healing Solutions is the program. That is the program. And I called it Emotional Healing Solutions because it helped me provide myself solutions to my emotional triggers that I found myself in. And if we were talking about specifically divine legacy, that's where, let me come down here, that's where a lot of my remembrance of who I was kind of inbred in me. It was an unlearned action that said, no, this isn't you. So who is this? Who is this individual? Who is this person? So through Emotional Healing Solutions, what I found was the first step. Emotions are feelings. Let me see. Sorry. I can't read my own handwriting. Okay, emotions are feelings we carry with us continually. And without facing these emotions, they can unconsciously become a trigger to another action. So breathe. I'm going to read that again. Emotions are feelings we carry with us continually. And without facing the emotion, they become unconscious. They can unconsciously become a trigger to another action. So breathe. One more time. Emotions are feelings we carry with us continually, and without facing them can unconsciously become a trigger to another action. So breathe. And what I found as a true success stepper is that you have to acknowledge that you're emotional. You have to acknowledge that things didn't work the way you wanted them to work in your life. You have to acknowledge that you are accountable for whatever behaviors, whether knowingly or unknowingly, at a time such as this, when you are trying to subconsciously raise your vibration, raise your awareness. And so I believe what truly happened in my case was that people saw where I was going, and they could not believe that there was not too much to talk about other than the success within my life. And so what happens is people get triggered by that. And that's when they start to behave a certain way. They become jealous, they become envious, they become just sinister beings, just people who have no reason why they're even doing the things that they're doing. And that's where I said that they turn into another action. So what I suggest to the success stepper who is stepping into their authentic self, who is rising to the high vibrational level from a low vibrational frequency, and having had to experience some very unpleasant things, I say to you, breathe. Tap into energy that raises the vibration. Look at hindsight. Affirm what you want for your life, not what someone else wants for you. The affirmations are for you. Affirm every day. The frequency that makes you happy. Not the money in your bank account, not how things are going to happen, because those are things that will work themselves out. You'll start to see it verbatim. And before you know it, you're like, oh God, there wasn't even a pause in it. Because I look back over my criminal case, and as my life is going on inside of the institution, I am praying and affirming and manifesting good things for my life outside of the system. Because I know that genuinely I would be protected. Don't ask me how I knew it. I just knew it. That I was going through a transformation, a transition, and to let go of those things that, were a part of my life, just a regular random, drink on the holidays, a regular random, chill night with the, guy in my life, and we're just, here and there, we're, smoking a little marijuana, whatever. But all that has to fall to the wayside. All that has to die. And that's what's happening. You have these people in this world called success scammers. You can be scammed out of your success if they can't take something from you, like physically. They'll start to play mental mind games. That's why this is the goal of the success stepper, to learn the game of life so that nobody will ever be able to play that, trap you up in a game that you don't even realize you're playing, if that makes sense. So emotional healing solutions really and genuinely impacted my life. It helped me see what I needed to know about the new and improved version of me. And even from that point, I have elevated even stronger, even further, down the area of just knowing that I am. And, I sit back hindsight and I look at the traps and I say, wow, this is how the person did it. This is exactly how they played the game. Trusting in your neighbor, trusting in your friends, learning new people during a time of your grieving stages, and then trusting in them and expecting someone to come and save you or empower you when you should be going into isolation. One thing about grief is that even in biblical text, it tells us that we should primarily go within, cover ourselves, do our breath work, our healing, our meditation, and let go of those things within 3 days. Because if we hold on to grief longer than that, then what happens is it becomes a way of life, and it becomes a distraction, and it becomes detrimental. It becomes a heaviness. So like my grandmother Dorothy would always say, she would say, listen, anything can be overcame in 3 days. Anything after that is your victimology. You are victimizing yourself. You are destroying what you should be focusing on, yourself. And it's very difficult to experience that if you think that your loved one has passed on and that's it for the rest of your life. But yet, if you believe in higher vibrational frequency, you already understand nothing ever dies. It just reinvents and retransforms itself. So I want you to think about that as you're going through your emotional phases, whatever they are. And this number 1 phase will assist you. And we're going to go over it again. Emotions are feelings we carry with us continually, and without facing them, can unconsciously become a trigger to another action. Just breathe through it. Again, emotions are feelings we carry with us continually, and without facing them, we can unconsciously become, it can become an unconscious trigger to another action. Breathe. One more time. Emotions are feelings we carry with us continually, and without facing these emotions, they can become unconsciously within our psyche and become a trigger to another action. So because I was in grief over my life, my loved ones, the loss of the loved ones, the loss of the job, the success, there was both balance, the scales. And that's why I created Scales to Success, to remind me that there's going to be highs and lows, and you're going to have to balance the fulcrum. So my for-profit organization, Scales to Success, shared with me, and what I remembered, I just timestamped that in history, that without the grief, without the divorce, without the children who were misbehaving and acting a certain way that just add more stress to my life, without the friends around me. Do you know that during this very time that I was going through my struggles, one of my daughter's friends, who I feel was one of the reasons behind a lot of the chaos in my life at that time, literally came to me on my front door and told me that my third grandson had passed away at birth. And I told her she was a liar. I don't know how I knew. I told her she was a liar and that she should get off my property because the power of the tongue is devouring. So emotionally, as I'm going through my AA courses and my NA courses at this particular time, I remember it very, very clearly. My third grandson, this woman came. She was a witch from hell. I really feel she was a witch from hell. And she came to tell me that my grandson had died at birth. But here's the catch. Here's the whole spiritual essence of all that. When I shut her down and told her to remove her lie from my life, literally within days, I received a Social Security card with the name of my third grandson in the mail. And not only was that a resonating factor, the universal source of my understanding told me that they won't issue you a birth number if you're not alive. So that just reconfirmed it. And not only did it reconfirm the lie that was triggered, I later found out that they were in a scam for promoting human trafficking, basically. Promoting under the table adoption. So of course they have to find a way to use the knowledge of how we're not going to see the personal body of this child. Because they know I was coming. They knew I was coming to find out. But I let it go. Because right at that point, my emotional recovery was far more important to trying to figure out what the hell happened to my mental states. To my mental state of just realizing, did I flip out? Did I trip out? Then come to find out I was laced. You can't tell me this didn't come from something higher or greater than the average basic individual that's on the bottom of that's at the bottom. You can't tell me that this wasn't already a cult mentality, a secret society mentality. But I survived it. It could have been the whole community or a great select few. This is what I mean by success scamming. When they test you in that educational system and then you come out and you live your life and you live it to the fullest of your advantage and there's nothing that should be trapping you up and you still get trapped up, yeah, that's the enemy's part of the playbook that I want to just make you aware of. And as a healed. Because other than that, if I wasn't healed, there would be a lot of people that would be on my hit list. But because I'm healed, I am a success stepper that says Emotional Healing Solutions saved my life. Scales to Success, LLC, saved my life. And under that umbrella, everything else was part of the game. But what is above is also below. That is the power that we have within us. And we should never forget that. We should always keep that actively impacting our mindset. And with that, I want to leave this with part of the series that's going to talk about emotional healing solutions. I don't know why. Every time I get online, my nose starts to itch. I don't know what that is. Is somebody sending me some type of distractive vibration or something? I'm going to try to do an affirmation and reject that before I get on, and let's see what happens. But it could just be my mindset. But anyway, I've been on this camera for many, many decades. I started my YouTube channel in 2006. So I've been doing videos forever. And guess what? This right here is something is going on, because it's never outside of the videos. It's always inside when I'm doing my videos. So I understand how the system works. But anyway, Emotional Healing Solutions is part of the Success Steppers journey. It's part of holding that one success mindset, keeping it fruitful in your abilities to understand how far you have maintained income. So if this has resonated with you, if this information makes you see things a different way, I do apologize for skipping over and not being actively paying attention to my own documentation. But sometimes, I can think that I'm writing it big enough, but something happens and it's just the way that my eyes choose to see it. So with that being said, if it has impacted you in some way, put it in the comment box below. Like the video, share the video. It's all free. You know what I mean? It'll get it out to other people who may be struggling. I mean, God, I couldn't see someone who has the ability to just share some information that could be helpful to someone and choose not to do it. Because why? I mean, there's no real reason for another person not to experience this information. It is very, very vital, and it could be the saving grace that could help assist someone in the enemy's attack. Because I'm talking about the success steppers way to play the game of life and fulfill their goal, to succeed, to become their divine legacy. And then I'm also talking about the playbook of the enemy and how, if you're not careful, one will be trapped up. You don't have to be trapped up. And with that, thank you so much for being here with me today. And we'll see you tomorrow with Emotional Healing Solutions number 2. We're going to do the steps to solving your emotional situations. And we'll see you.